Hey everybody, it's Spear here, and we are back with another deck profile. You guys already know me. I'm always messing around with these funky, janky decks, and today I bring you guys Tricolor Kaiser, a very awesome deck that utilizes Mastemons, utilizes Ultimates, utilizes Kaiser Nail to get you some amazing value while being able to tempo out your opponent. Of course, guys, if you want to pick up any of the cards that I talk about in today's deck profile, I have to push you guys over to 3Mana Inc., the best place in Canada to get your Digimon sealed and single product guaranteed. And of course, you want to watch me pilot decks like these. I do it all the time on Twitch. I stream every Monday through Thursday and on weekends with tournaments. Link to that will be down in the description down below. With that said though, let's just jump right into the deck. Now, of course, guys, if you just want the numbers, here they are. Here's the deck, but we will break it down a little bit further. And as you can see, it is tricolor via blue as our get off the ground, get some card advantage, as well as give us some extra memory to play with. Yellow, what we really want to be able to Kaiser Nail out in regards to accruing more life, being able to board control, as well as just extending our board. And finally, wrap around with a nice purple to be able to not only go into Mastemon faster if we need to, but combo and synergize really well with our yellow cards as well. With that said, we'll go down and break up piece by piece like we always do. Starting off with the Digitamers, we do have one Demivimon and 4 Upamon. These are just ways to be able to get our draw. Upamon being the more consistent piece in this deck because we don't really focus on the jamming aspect that hard. And we can actually trigger it pretty regularly based on how we're forcing our opponents to play with the threats we keep deploying on board. Then the rookies lineup, we are playing a number of Elecmon. We just want some cheap cost Digimon to be able to play out, because when we're not playing our big stuff, we are kind of a low to the ground rookie rush style deck for the first couple of turns, where we're trying to get chip damage in to then be able to stall our opponent's board for when we really want to go out and close out game. On that front, we are running Vmon. I wasn't running this previously, but I did decide to tech this in, and it's why we're not running as many 2-drops. We want to be able to have an annoying presence on board, something that our opponent is forced to deal with, because the more our opponent attacks into our Digimon, the less they're attacking into our life, and we're more of a tempo deck. We want to be able to press while forcing our opponent to answer what we're doing so that we can spend more turns just pushing by deploying big threats and getting a bunch of value. Just try and make it tough for our opponent to really get there. As well as it just combos with X-Vmon, where if we need to attack twice, Vmon is a great attacker for that first one to then get a cheeky Evo and go for the swing. Of course, we are a blue deck, so we do run Gabumon. Hey, he's just a great card rookie to be able to draw us an extra card. He replaces himself and he's just a cheeky body on there to be able to attack into or do whatever we need a rookie to do once he's out there. And then we wrap up with Gomamon. If you guys know me and my Kaiser list, I love Gomamon because they allow you to go into your big plays, especially when you combo him with Leomon. And that's what we're going to talk about right here in the champions. Of course, the first champion to talk about is Leomon, and one of the big reasons why we're playing blue. Combo with Gomamon, it means that you could have access to 3 extra memory you wouldn't be able to if this survives the turn after you play it. Or if it survives, it means your opponent now has to deal with it, or they're probably going to lose another security. And if they do deal with it, they're losing 2 to 3 memory, which is very annoying. So Leomon just creates a lot of really annoying board situations for our opponent, where if they answer us, they get punished. They don't answer us, they get punished, because then it allows us to go into our bigger plays on the next turn if Leomon does die then. So it allows us to extend our plays. It creates awkward situations for our opponent. It's a phenomenal card. Then we run Unimon as a 3-of. Honestly, Unimon is just a concession here. We don't have great ways to feed our Mastemon, and if I was to push this deck even further, which I'm always twinkling with it, and I will post up a new version of it when I come to it, but right now Unimon is just one of the few cards that we actually can get back with Mastemon, and we're hardcasting it, or it's being checked in security, and then we can go and fetch it out with our Mastemon. So that's kind of how we're accruing our value on that front. But Mastemon is pretty much just here to mess with our opponent's combat math more so than getting us some value. And we wrap up with X-Vmon. I used to run Garurumon in the slot, and I do really like Garurumon a lot, but X-Vmon does serve a very similar purpose in being able to restand our Digimon. He is able to restand a blocker, which is also very useful for a cheaper cost than just hardcasting a Garurumon, as well as being able to close out games. You know, if we get the chip damage in with the rookie survives, or we can restand Leomon if it survives. There's a lot of plays that we can do here that allow us to extend, which makes X-Vmon a very good card. Ultimates, however, are the heart and soul of the deck because they are our primary Kaiser targets. Kicking us off, we have Shakumon. On your turn, this Digimon is also treated as blue, and on the opponent's turn, all your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards gain security attack -1. This is one of my concessions for Rookie Rush. It's also a body you can just Kaiser Nail, and sometimes your opponent's just left with a weird board state where they don't end up having Digimon with stacks. So this is one just a good card to be able to buy out another turn. That's what this deck wants to do. It wants to buy another turn. It wants to buy a second turn. So this card allows you to be able to do that, and then you don't care if it dies afterwards because you're probably just going to punch it in, get game, or you get to evo into something really powerful. MagnaAngemon, however, being the MVP of the deck, being a hard cast recovery 1, and anytime you Kaiser Nail this out is just even more value. And its inheritable actually is relevant. The extra 1k can sometimes allow you to beat over things you wouldn't be able to with your megas. And to wrap it off, we have Mastemon, which is a removal on a stick. 7k body is actually pretty good, relevant stat line. And then on play 2, your opponent's Digimon get -3k. Again, just trying to push back against our opponent's wider boards. And to wrap it all, we have Chimeramon, and this is going to combo really well with Contourusmon, which you're going to see in a second, but it's just a way to be able to punish our opponent if they decide to stick an ultimate on board just by itself. Okay, fine, well, Chimeramon, we can kill a Leomon if we want, and now this 7 cost effectively costed us 5, 4 if we also have a Gomamon under the Leomon. So there's a lot of, mixed synergies in there where we have a lot of stuff that's actually pretty okay with dying. And if we do, we can then go into Mastemon because this Mastemon is purple and yellow to evo. And to wrap it all up, we have our megas. So we have Contourusmon, really good with the stall strat. On Digivolve, you get to choose 5 of your opponent's Digimon and they get security attack -2, which can prevent your opponent going for game most of the time. And on top of that, on deletion, it gets -11k to win your opponent's Digimon. And this combos really well with, let's say, Chimeramon. So now by killing this with Chimeramon, not only do you get to kill an ultimate or below, but you also get to kill a lot of megas or anything that's 11k or less, which is a very powerful board control combo when Contourusmon already did what he has to do. Otherwise, Contourusmon is just a phenomenal attacker because if he dies, you don't care. You're taking one of your opponent's Digimon down with it. And he's an annoying body that your opponent probably won't want to attack in, meaning that anything he has under him can be Kaiser Nailed out pretty reliably. And to wrap up our mega slot, we are running Mastemon, being able to evolve on top of Chimeramon or any other of our ultimates. And then on Digivolve, you get to trash 1 on top of both of you and your opponent's security, and then play a level 4 or less from your trash. Now, it does have to be purple or yellow. It's kind of why we're running the Unimons right now. I would love to get full value from this card, but really being the tempo kind of deck we are, the burn damage is for sure the most important aspect that we're getting out of this deck. Also, one thing that I did forget to mention for Shakuamon is actually it gives us a line to go into our megas. Now, if for whatever reason we're stuck on a XVmon or a Leo that we want to do something with on board that don't revolve it dying, we can actually go into Shakuamon and our opponent none the wiser, while might be playing around us going on Mega by hardcasting a level 5, now we can just go straight Evo. So there's that great flexibility there that Shakuamon provides the deck in bringing the blue much more better synergized with the yellow. Then we do run 2 Tamers. We run to TK. This deck really wants to be at 3. A lot of its place cost 4. Kaiser Nail for 4 to then memory choke your opponent is great. It allows you to find your deck. The one thing I will say is that we don't run enough of a yellow density where sometimes we just burn ourselves. It sucks. We have to take a non-blue card sometimes. I wish we had a better Tamer to run the deck, but at the moment I think this one really is the best one that the deck gets access to for now. But there is an argument to me that you could run the Mat instead. That is also okay. Then we have the options. Of course, we are a blue deck, so we do run Hammer Spark, allows us to extend our plays, allows us to force any chokes, allows us to do things that we wouldn't typically be able to do, and combo with a TK means that we can play a Mastemon and then attack with a Mastemon, which is pretty huge, means the difference between winning or losing games. We run 1 Kakaitis Breath. I do run the 1 blue removal because since our breeding area is blue, it is way more reliable to get this off than something I'd have to play a yellow card for. Let's say if I want to go ahead and run like Eden's Javelin or anything like that. So this just being the more reliable one of that I decide to tech. And then wrapping off, we do have 2 Kaiser Nails. 3 does get clunky, but 2, you do eventually end up seeing it and you will get great value from this card. With that said, guys, that is Tricolor Kaiser Nail, an awesome deck that put on a bunch of great pressure, and every game I've played with this deck has felt like I've had a shot of winning if I didn't win, and we forced our opponents into game 3 situations. It is honestly a really powerful deck, and it's almost there. It's a really good start, and I would love to hear your guys' takes on it, because I feel like if we can get full value from Mastemon, the deck is all just about perfect, and it does really great against Rogue as well as against Meta. We faced Meta, and it did pretty decently. So if you guys have ideas to how we could take this deck to the next level, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear your take on that. If you guys liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Hey, if you dislike it, thumbs down works too. And of course, if you want to watch any more of my videos, we're doing deck techs, discussions, all that jazz. I'm really trying to ramp up the Digimon content we have on here. Subscribe buttons in the corner. With that said, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Ciao.